Okay, so this is the traditional route I take when I'm going to the industrial zone. I recommend doing this on scavs more so than PMCs, and the only real reason is because PMCs can get targeted from all the way back here by the rogues, and I've died to a grenade launcher around this area before. So if you're a PMC, if you're a bear, then this route is still going to be safe as long as you haven't been seen before you do it. So if you come all the way from this side of the beach and run around, you should be fine. This route also avoids all of the mines. So you're just going to run like this. They can theoretically see you right here, but I've never had it happen. You're just basically going to hug the beach all the way through. And even past the grotto, you're just going to hug the beach. There are a few cars and things that we can find along the road that you can choose to loot as well, but for the most part, you just hug the beach. Up until you see the big building, and then you can cut in. Important to note real quick that there's a barrel cache right next to the grotto. And it is in a little nook right here. You can actually go through a few ways through this little area to avoid the mines. I mostly just go through the water here. And then we just continue up along the coast. You can go through that little nook, or you can, once again, just hug the water. If you want to be extra safe, you can go a little bit further down. But, especially as a scav, you can just cut in right about here and just walk up to the industrial zone. Okay, so here is my loot run for the industrial zone. This is a really strong spot to loot for scavs, because there are player scav spawns here, but also because it's pretty well unknown and the PMCs have to contend with the risk of being killed by rogues on their way here in most cases, even with the safe route. So to start the route, I'm going to enter through the front gate here. We're going to look at this table to our left here. We're going to look on top of these boxes, sometimes spawns down here. Loot the duffel bag. We're going to look for spawns on top of here. Sometimes things can spawn on the other side too. Look for spawns down here. Look for spawns inside the bathroom. Look for spawns on top of this. Sometimes even right here. Then we're going to head inside the building and do a loop around it. Potential spawns pretty much on all the empty shelf space. Spawns next to the toolbox as well. Essentially anything you can look on top of, or any empty shelf space you want to look at. Spawns there, spawns here. Spawns there. More spawns next to the toolbox as well as the toolbox itself. Then we're going to head down. You can loot the jacket. Potential spawns on top of the desk. This time there's some grenades on here. Then we're going to exit the building. We're going to check this box here. Usually some good stuff on there. Not this time though. And then we want to check a couple spots outside. So we can look down here. You can also check this when you first get in as well. You can look on this spot right here, on top of the forklift. You can look on top of here. You can also put this spot at the end. So I'll show the other route, but just noting that those spots exist. What's probably more efficient is if you come out here and loot that box, you can come over here, loot these boxes, check this spot, check the forklift here, check the wood here, and then head up this way. Check these boxes. Check this weapon box here. Jump down. Check the toolbox. Come over here. Check for spawns on top of these machines. Don't know what those are. Right over here, loot that toolbox. Come along this way. As far as I'm aware, those two open containers right there and there don't have anything in them. I've never seen anything in them, so that's just going to be my assumption. We're going to continue along the second part here. I'm going to check inside here. Very rarely have I seen anything spawn in there, though. Maybe not ever, actually, but it's worth a look. Check on top of these boxes. Check here, here, here. Check this box. Check these boxes here. You can see some ammo spawn this time. Loot this toolkit. Toolbox. Come around here. Check these boxes. You can also continue along and come over here through this wood part. And then that allows you to look at the top of these boxes and the top of these boxes and then come back, which is probably going to be more efficient. So check the top of these boxes. On top of here. These have a lot of potential spawns, but very low spawn rates. Check on top of pretty much all this stuff. You're going to potentially see something. And here, some weapon attachments spawn, usually 2 will spawn in there. And then we can just go ahead and jump off. And then you're gonna look right here. So potential spawns around here. Some vodka spawned right there. I'm gonna look right here. Some squash here. Sugar there. And then we're gonna come back this way. And there is a barrel cache, or sorry, not a barrel cache, a wood cache right around here. There it is. If you have trouble finding it, just walk around until you hit on wood. I already checked this just to make sure that I remembered where it was for the video, but there you go. There's a ground cache here, right next to this trailer thing. So you can keep that in mind. Once again, check these boxes. You can look in the back of this. There's usually ammo spawns here. See, we get 3 ammo spawns. Nothing particularly exciting, though. Ammo spawns on top of here. Some good old BP. You can check around here. All these boxes. Come over here, check the top of these boxes. And then we're gonna come... seems like you can... The only way I've been able to get up here is if I sprint jump on that side. The sprint jump on that side, jump on top, loot the ration supply crate here. And then we're going to come up to the top of this walkway, head all the way to the back. Check the spawns on top of here. Got some BS this time. That's pretty lucky. Check the top of here. Basically about 4 spawns all along these bricks here. Gonna walk over here, check inside this. And spawns on top of here as well. Then we're gonna check this weapon box, and then there are usually about two attachment spawns right next to it as well. And then you can come check around here. Sometimes things spawn by the barrel fire. Sometimes some things on top of the boxes here. And then, if you're a scav, I would usually just walk right here and then extract near the yellow card. Or you can keep moving. If you didn't already check the spots on this side before, you can just keep walking. And then you can check, the top of these boxes. Check the wood. Check these boxes here. And basically the stuff that we looked at when we were here before. But you can do a final loop around at the end if you want to check those as well. And that's it. That's all the spawns that I know of on this map, or on this section of the map. Once again, I think it's really, really good for scavs. If anybody can get here, it's good loot, obviously, but I think it has it's really consistent money for scavs because it's usually not entered by the PMCs, and you can get here very, very safely. And there's basically 3 good extracts right next here. You can go back to Grotto, you can wait for the armored train, or you can go to the industrial zone gates right there. There have been some times, and this is just a word of warning for any scavs, there have been some times where the rogues will be aggroed on me for some reason, and the guy on the back building here will get on his mounted machine gun. Okay? So this guy, there's a guy that sits on top of this building, and there's a machine gun right there. And so sometimes, I don't really know why or how this happens, but he'll eventually aggro on you, and he'll be able to shoot you. Now, there's basically a bit of a line of sight he can get if you're, like, back here, kind of near the tanker, kind of near the truck that sits all the way back near the fence. It's a bit ambiguous, but there's basically a certain line of sight he can have where he can actually shoot you and potentially kill you. It's really unfortunate when that happens, but what I will say is that it's actually easier to extract than you think. I don't have any guarantees on whether or not you will or will not die, but yeah, sometimes I've been sprinting like this, and basically you run on the side of his MG, so then he has to, like, get off it and move, or he'll miss a lot if you're sprinting usually. And then you can just come here and extract anyways. So if it does happen, it's not that big of a deal. You could potentially try to find some angle on him too. There is like a couple spots that you might be able to get a shot on him from where he's not expecting it, because he's probably just focused on the middle of this place basically. But yeah, that sort of warning, that can happen. It has happened to me multiple times ever since the initial rogue change. Before the rogue change, that never happened. Also additional toolkit up here if you want to come all the way up here. But once again, this part's more dangerous just because of the whole rogue situation. So if you're not aggroed by the rogues, then you can come up here. But if you are aggroed by the rogues, then I wouldn't come up here. It's not really worth it just for one toolbox when you can do so much more safer. But there is that too. So yeah, I would say, like, it's, around like this arc, if you're back here. Right, yeah, right here in particular, he can shoot you. I have died testing the limits of it, so just be safe with that. If you get closer, you can get out of his line of sight quicker. I would do that. or you can just wait for the train. There are also some spawns on the train, so if you do wait for it, you can loot a weapon box in there, and I think there's a couple wooden boxes as well. But that's all I have for you. Thanks for watching if you did, and I'll catch you next time.